So last week I talked about things in the readings that connected with me, and so this week I want to talk about a few of the speakers. I've actually really enjoyed having the speakers. I think it's really nice to have just personal testimony, and then also it's people that have gone through Bethel and have experienced the transition, which is the thing that I'm most worried about after graduating. And so the first speaker that I really enjoyed hearing was Dr. Belfi. I think it's really cool, just I can definitely tell from her speaking that she is on the more conservative end. However, she still is a woman who is in higher education and is in a leadership position, and as she was speaking, one of the things that I thought was really interesting was just how through the just the culture that Bethel has is very much all about marriage and not being single and finding the one or the spouse. And so it was kind of cool how she talked about that, because I think a lot of times when women who speak about being single, it's often seen as oh, you're just someone who couldn't find someone, or like it's this pity situation, where I feel she discussed how she found someone and she thought that and was really honest about her experience with that, but in spite of that she still went on to get her PhD and continued education, and didn't let the fact that being in a Christian community where being single is often viewed as negative stop her from being a woman in leadership. And so I actually really admired that about her, and it kind of just inspired me of who she is as a person, and just um, hearing the stories of women who are leading colleges and having major influence in that. So the second speaker that I really enjoyed hearing was the one from Transformation Ministries. I forget his first name, but his last name was Yazel. But I really enjoyed hearing him speak, because I'm not super familiar with the You and Me program, or Transformation or Keller Park or anything in that realm, but it was interesting to hear just his experience of transitioning into a neighborhood of diverse populations, and how he acknowledged that it's because of white privilege that he can do that. And I think that a lot of times when people hear are encouraged to go move in a neighborhood that they wouldn't necessarily want to live per se, it's well, isn't that really arrogant of you to want to do that? But I think it was cool that he acknowledged that it's his position of privilege that allows him to do that. And I think it's that in itself is really powerful, because it shows if you are in a position of privilege, you do have the opportunity to almost humble yourself, and realize that the people around you, no matter what skin or what economic status they come from, they deserve to be treated with human dignity, and deserve to be treated like literally your neighbor. So I really enjoyed hearing his story and the things that he had to say. And I just as he was speaking, I was thinking about myself, and just I kind of have this mindset that, oh, I want to get this career, I want to become this profession, I want to have this family. And then I kind of wonder could I put myself in that situation? And I think for me it's a little bit easier, just because I already am a minority. But I think even being up, growing up in a Western family, Western raised culture, I think makes me wonder could I do that? But I genuinely would want to do that. I think diversity is so beautiful, and so I thought it was really cool that he was embracing and celebrating and immerging himself in the beauty of diversity. And then the third speaker that I really enjoyed hearing was Megan. I didn't really know her super well, and so I kind of had some preconceived notions about her, just some of the things that she's posted on social media, and just how vocal she is. And after hearing her speak, I actually really enjoyed her passion and appreciation for her justice heart. And I think that she's working with a population that I potentially really want to work with, and I'm really passionate about advocating for women who have gone through sexual assault or rape, or those traumatic experiences. And so I actually felt I connected with her on that personal level. And then just hearing her give those personal tips about just things, that practical things she wished she would have known, and I thought that was super helpful. And then actually hearing her story, and just her experience before Bethel, in Bethel, and then after Bethel, kind of gave me a broader understanding of just where she's coming from. And so now when I see her comment on social media, I understand where she's coming from, versus just I kind of was okay, commenting on someone's post telling them they're wrong isn't necessarily going to help anything. But then after hearing like why she is just so strong for justice made me like every time I see it now, I'm just like, yeah, like go Megan, like you're really great. And so I just really enjoyed hearing all of those speakers and like just their different stories, and they're obviously all very different, but I think they each touched on like more of just like rather than like the next step in life, they talked about like how to grow as a person even after Bethel, which is something that I know I'm gonna do, but I'm really nervous about not having the same influences and not having the same encouragement. So like just hearing those stories, knowing that like you are gonna still grow, you can still grow, and like that was super encouraging for me as I think about like the next couple years.